Hi, so this is a follow-up video about the Sony SRS-88 wireless speaker. I've been wanting to make this for a while now. However, I've been trying out lots of different subscription services and trying to find, the best way of getting music onto this thing, particularly if you don't want to shell out extra and you don't want to pay extra for a subscription services. There are some good other casting options, particularly if you have a tablet. I do recommend the Sony one has got some pretty good casting options that don't rely on using Google Home. However, I've decided to use this with the Amazon Alexa Echo Dot because I find that is actually gives you pretty good value if you have a Prime subscription. Not only do you get access to some premium music, the voice technology in Alexa is really good for getting other people involved in using the streaming services. So if you've got people who don't really care about using smartphones and not interested in technology, having voice commands means that they can just shout at the speaker and get some music. So it's a really good way of letting your music and your speak and your wireless music more accessible to everybody in the family. So although I really like Alexa and that's working really well for me, I am going to go and cover off some other alternatives, which, some freebies, so kind of give you the best experience of using this. But just to show you Alexa quickly, the Dot is pretty good value. If you already have a speaker, you don't need to shell out for a full Echo, and you don't have to, buy a Google Home, which is, you're doubling up the functionality. If you already have a really good speaker, you don't need to pay for another whole speaker, which you're not going to use. So settle on the Dot. Although the Dot does have a built-in speaker, which is okay for voice commands, it's pretty terrible for listening to music on. So if I just show the difference in quality quickly, Alexa, tell me a joke.
Why was the broom late? It overswept.
Yeah, okay, good joke. Interestingly, if you have got the Alexa app running, you can see the different commands in the history of what Alexa's been telling you. If we get it to connect to the speaker now, you can do all of this via voice commands. Alexa, connect to speaker.
Searching.
And Alexa, tell me a joke.
Why did the chicken cross the playground? To get to the other side.
So you can hear the difference is pretty good. This is going over Bluetooth. You can connect this via a auxiliary line out. I haven't tried that yet because I don't always have the speaker on, so I don't want the hassle of turning the speaker on or off. So I do prefer the Bluetooth. And as you can hear, the music and the coming out of the speaker is much, much, much clearer. So we try the weather. Alexa, what is the weather?
Currently, in London it's 17 degrees with partly sunny skies. Today, you can expect lots of clouds, with a high of 18 degrees and a low of 10 degrees.
Okay, so let's move on to music. I'm actually going to mute the speaker because I don't want to trigger copyright on YouTube. So video is kind of more about how the apps behave rather than the quality and the sound of the speaker, because you won't really be able to tell how good it is depending on what you're listening to this. So if I turn this down quite a bit. Now, if you want Alexa to play some music, kind of weirdly, although you do have the Amazon Music app, you actually want to be using the Alexa app. So we can hear that actually if I click that one there. So here we can control all of the music via the Alexa app. Of course, you have the ability to skip using the standard remote controller. You can also ask Alexa, skip. I don't know if that's good. you can, of course, use voice commands. After a while, if you don't particularly like the music, that does get quite laborious, so I do recommend using the controller. The reason why I point this out is because a lot of subscription services like Play Music don't actually work with the controller. So one of my bugbears when using Play Music was that you couldn't skip with this anymore. I did log a support call to Google, but they never fixed it. So it's quite good that the Alexa app does actually work with the normal playback controls on that. So if you don't have Prime Music, one of the things that works quite well is the Sony Music app. As this is a Sony tablet, this does have the ability to cast to it pretty nicely. And as you can see here, you'll want the audio casting option, not the video casting option. If you don't have, of course, you can use the notification panel to switch on casting. One of the only problems with this, if you're using, for example, your phone versus a dedicated tablet, is that this will pick up all of the sounds of your phone. So if you have notifications coming through, or you have a game, for example, all of those sounds as well as your music will be coming through. So that's why it's good to use either Play Music or the Amazon Music app. Also, if you are playing a video game or a movie or something, the problem with casting is that you'll get a 2-second delay. That's nothing to do with the speaker, that's just how, unfortunately, casting works. So for that, I'd recommend using Bluetooth, which is quite ironic because obviously you've bought this to go over Wi-Fi. So if you want instantaneous, synchronization between like a YouTube video or a game, I do recommend going over Bluetooth instead of casting to get around that. If you don't have a player which has the built-in casting options, you can use Google Home, which you can download for free, and this will allow you to again cast to your speaker. This is actually really fiddly because you need to go into various menus depending on what you're doing. Annoyingly, they don't have all of the buttons in one place, but once you've cast using Google Home, you can obviously use your your default music player. You'll notice that I've kind of steered away from the Song Pal a little bit. Let me put that into landscape mode, rather annoyingly. One of the reasons for not using the Song Pal app is it's not very good at controlling your music. This is much better from when it launched originally, which my first video was based on. However, one of the really annoying things about the app is that it doesn't allow you to control it outside of the app. So check the volume, let's play something. So you can see it doesn't really maintain its position. So, okay, great. So when you're in the app, it's easy to control, but you'll notice that if I clear that, there's nothing in the actual notification panel. So if you're on your phone or another Android device, it's quite annoying to try and control it. You just want to skip a bit of music. You will have to launch the app and to get back into it. It's a small thing when this thing, it's just kind of one of those little annoying things about the app. It is much better compared to when it first launched. However, I do recommend using the Alexa rather than any other subscription service. So that's just a small takeaway about the kind of my experiences with using the speaker and other bits of software that connects to it. One of the other things you can do with Alexa quickly is that because it's just Bluetooth, if you have a smaller Bluetooth portable speaker, of course you can connect to that, and then that way you can save yourself a bit of money and carry this around between different rooms. So if you don't want to spend out more money on a multi-room system, obviously Alexa is powerful enough to go around the whole of your home. So that's why it's great buying the Dot, because it's not just going to be about the speaker or home automation. It does hook into a lot of other things, so it gives you a lot of freedom to use your music any way you choose. So I hope that covers off quite a few points about the speaker. If If you have any questions or comments, or hey, how does it work with this, then hit me up on the comments and I'll do my best to reply.